We're just looking for new gadgets this year. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the inquisitive mind. How are you doing? Where are you?
I'm in Vermont, and but I'm in the process of building a saline trawler,
Perfect.
and just always looking to follow a little you guys a little bit, and saw this and thought it would be interesting to AI is going to continue to have an impact, I think, in boating and the marine world. So get a sense of what other people are thinking about it.
Yeah, I think so too. And the beauty of this is Nick will be able to show us, everything from the detection, classification to and then threat alerts, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's game changing, right? If it's consumable, that's the thing. But
Yeah,
it's only going to get better.
yeah, exactly. All right, Nick, you're the driver. I'm going to mute myself now. Welcome
Okay.
to the Ocean Posse um, gear demo week here. So I'm excited to see you here. And Nick, thank you for making the time. We're recording this so the other Posse folks can then watch this later on. And Chris, thanks for being on the call as well.
All right. Thank you so much for the intro. As mentioned, my name is Nick Tangrady. I'm the sales manager for the Americas, North and South America here at Sea.Ai. And really what we do is machine vision for safety at sea. So what that means is that we improve safety and comfort at sea by using machine vision technology. We have the ability to detect, classify, estimate distances to objects, and alert you of potential hazards. So our main goal is to enhance situational awareness. We have over 600 systems currently in the field, and we have the largest database of over 18 million annotated marine objects, everything from debris to buoys, and now we're including whales in that detection, which has become a very hot topic globally. So where we fill the gap in situational awareness at sea is we're not trying to replace AIS or radar. We're really trying to complement those technologies and filling the gap of objects that they might miss, whether that be a person in the water, debris, small boats. Radar is a little bit of hit or miss on those objects. We can actually detect, classify, and estimate distances to those objects. And now we're starting to integrate into these technologies where radar can control our camera to look at an object of interest. We also have a tight integration with time zero that I'll show you later, where you can see all your chart targets listed in one screen, everything from AIS, radar to camera detections. And this also works on all devices, whether that be an Android or Windows or Linux-based smartphone. You can see your user interface, your camera detections, all on that smart device. So if your captain needs to go to the bathroom, they can take their device, run to the bathroom, and still get the alerts that they would get typically on their MFD. We integrate very tightly into the Garmin, Navco, Furuno, Simrad, B&G, and Raymarine, all through a mini PC. And then, as I mentioned, we also have a seamless integration into the Time Zero platform as well. So product details, just going to highlight our quick product lineup that we have today. We have the Sea.Ai Sentry, that's for motor yachts, has full pan tilt capabilities, consists of 4 sensors. You have 2 thermal and 2 visual sensors in there, all at different focal length. So you are able to get close and far detection. And we're able to overlay our AI, so it is always running on all 4 sensors. Our offshore product is for blue water sailors. Our Sea.Ai competition is for ocean racing. That's kind of how we got started in this industry, is through sailboat racing. And then our brand new product is, if I can minimize this here, the Sea.Ai Brain. That allows us to run our AI detections on a third-party thermal camera, whether that be a FLIR, Axis, Bosch. We now can do our AI processing on an on-board stream. So highlighting the Sentry product for motor yachts, here you can kind of see the specs of what it consists. It does have electronic zoom, not optical zoom. So that allows us to keep the cost down a bit. So there are different focal lengths, as I mentioned. And as you zoom in on the interface, it will actually switch lenses from your wide field of view to your narrow field of view to give you that pixels on target. So it's a little bit of a crisp image rather than the digital zoom. They all have electronic image stabilization and mechanical image stabilization. So when you are cruising in open seas, it does have a very tight balance as far as what you'll see on the screen. has AI-based target tracking, so it can automatically follow an object of interest, whether that be for Coast Guard trying to find a person's in water, or you're just sailing and you see something that's a little bit interesting and you just kind of want to make sure that it's not a threat. You can easily enable auto tracking to follow that object throughout the scene. Intelligent alarms, you're able to set distance-based alarms where if an object gets too close to you, you can receive an audible alert either through your mobile device or through the ship speaker system. And diving into the 4 key functions of this entry. So you have your object detection, just being able to detect that there is an object up ahead on the water surface. There's target tracking, which I just kind of highlighted. Just see something interesting, you can easily enable auto tracking to make sure that they are not a threat. Collision avoidance is if you are sailing, the camera will pan about 110 degrees forward, then let you know if there's anything up ahead, a little bit to your left, a little bit to your right, and give you an alert if there's something that might be a potential navigational hazard. And perimeter surveillance is just going to do a full 360 continuous pan around your vessel and let you know if someone's trying to swim aboard or the vessel might be drifting into you, you're drifting to someone else. You are able to receive those alerts. That's great if you're docking in like maybe a sketchy area, say outside the coast of the Bahamas. You are able to receive alerts if there's any potential threat approaching your vessel. So as far as technical specifications and detection ranges, so a buoy, person in water, debris, anything that's about a foot above the surface of the water, you'll be able to detect up to 700 meters away. A dinghy, rib, or inflatable, 3,000 meters. A motorboat or sailboat, 7,500 meters. And a large vessel up on the horizon. And as far as the height goes, we do require a minimum mounting height of 15 feet above the water surface. And the higher up the mounting height, the better the accuracy is and the detection distance as well. So we always say it mounted as high as possible, and that allows you to get better distance estimation, classification, and detection. So not just highlighting some demo clips here.
By the operator. When appropriate, we'll alert the operator.
Here you can see a person in the water, and you can see it switching between the narrow and wide field of view. There's a map view as well on this system. So you have your daytime, your nighttime. You can see 2 images at once, or you can do 1 image in the map view. That was enabled auto tracking. And then here I actually kind of zoom off the person a little bit to get rid of the auto tracking. You can shift left to right 30 degrees very easily, or manually a little by little, and then zoom right back in on the person with the daytime detection. And then this one will showcase the auto tracking. And I'm sorry, if you can see down here on the interface, you see manual mode. That's your manual control, the pan, tilt, and zoom. You also have surveillance mode. That's the one that does a full 360 surveillance. And then collision avoidance, which will pan left to right. But this one shows a complicated scene with picking up the detections, estimating the distances, all while maintaining target tracking following an object throughout the scene. And you can see the yellow ones are warning signs. So you are able to select distances for warning versus danger. And as you see here on the right-hand side on the map view, even though these objects aren't in view of the camera anymore, they do stay plotted on that little chart. So if you wanted to on the map, you could click on that object and the camera will actually zoom back over towards that object of interest. Those stay on the chart for about 30 seconds and then they are wiped out. So you do get a little bit of memory built into the camera as far as targets. And then here's the time zero integration. This one's very cool because the radar can actually control the pan tilt sentry. So you can either say, I see a flock of birds for fishing vessels. I want to get visual verification with the camera. You can have the camera zoom in based off where the radar picks up birds, or if the radar picks up a boat, it can control zoom back and forth. But you're also able to overlay your camera targets on the time zero interface as well. So right there, you see it being classified as a sailing boat. That's coming from the camera. If that was a buoy, same type of thing, or even if a whale, we now have whale detection into the sentry. Here you can see the buoy being picked up and detected over on the left-hand side of the interface. And then here, move camera over there to back to the sailboat, goes right back to the sailboat, and then they enable auto tracking right there. It puts it in the center of the screen. So you are able to track that object throughout. And then talking about the Sea.Ai brain, this one brings AI powered detections to third-party cameras. Right now, we have validated the FLIR 364, working on the FLIR M400, and obviously the end goal is to bring it to all FLIR models. And then also working on validating the Axis. Right now, we have the Axis Q87, and then working to bring it to Axis thermals, Q19s, and then also their PTZ series for coastal surveillance. That brings the same kind of detections that you will see. We are working on integrating the distance estimation into this, but that will not be available at launch. So right now, what you'll see here is the brain working with AI detections on versus off. So with it off, you can barely see that second detection. But as you slide that little slider to see the detections, it is very much annotated and easier to see on the eyes. And the hard part of using a thermal camera is that you always have to be watching it. What we can do is that we'll always be watching for you and be able to send you alerts so you don't have to have someone staring at a screen while trying to navigate the waters. And that's it. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer them for you right now. But really appreciate you guys taking the time to learn about Sea.Ai.
Thank you, Nick. Very, very informative. I know Chris has some pending questions based on his body language.
Okay.
Go ahead, Chris. You go first since you're worried more right now.
Yeah, no, thanks. Yeah, really impressive and interesting technology for sure. So, what does this display on just your typical nav display? So, and we'll probably be doing Garmin. Is there any sort of integration with that, or is it sort of viewed as a separate display with the SEI on it all the time?
So it's a little bit of both. It can be worked on a smart device, whether tablet, PC, or mobile device. But also, if you put a micro PC in between the MFD, you are able to switch the HDMI input. So you are able to see it on Garmin. The issue with MFDs, they're very much locked down. There have been rumblings that they will be coming out with Android-based MFDs, which will just open the door to a whole variety of apps, which would be great for us. But right now, it's really only Raymarine that is able to do it without a mini PC, and it's the latest version of Raymarine. But all the other ones, you just put a mini PC in between. If you are running time zero, you already have that mini PC, so you can just run it on the same version. So that's the way of integrating into the MFD.
Okay.
As an additional aid to navigation, you can simply put an iPad there, because think of it as you're mostly going to be concerned about your navigation on your chart plotter.
Yeah.
When you go into nighttime mode or higher risk mode, that's when you're going to look navigation plus radar plus this, right? I like the idea of from a use case of having a separate display with a separate alarm and have it running, and it's just basically your watch out, your lookout, right?
Yeah.
Your AI lookout. I also like the opportunity to use it at anchor if you're in sketchy areas, to have it pan.
Mhm.
So that you know when they're coming to steal your dinghy, now it's coming, right?
Mhm.
And we deal with dinghy theft along our 54 countries all the time, so we know exactly. Yeah, 3 a.m. is when they start swimming out. They start coming out on the surfboard, or they come on somebody else's panga. So having that situational awareness with a 360 pan, phenomenal, right?
Yeah, the cool thing with like Starlink now is that everyone has a VPN on their vessel, so now they can just be eating lunch out on a shore and be able to remote in and keep an eye on their vessel, get the same kind of visuals that you just saw there.
And Nick, just one other quick question. I think I have a sense of what the answer is, but I just love to hear it from you. Have you seen Proteus AI? Does that ring a bell to you?
It
It's from
doesn't. Proteus, Podius.
yeah, Proteus. It's an AI marine navigation tool. I think the difference is it takes data from the current systems and redisplays it using AI to do similar functions.
Is this from Carl Blue?
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so we work very closely with them. So now you can overlay camera targets and the radar AIS visualization that they do, all on the same kind of game-like interface. And now we're actually looking at running it on the brain product. So I know with the Proteus, you need a separate little module.
That's
Now you
right.
can run it all on the brain. That's not validated and tested, so don't say that yet, but it's very likely that will be coming to market in the next couple months.
Okay. Okay. So it just feels like the really uniqueness of what you're bringing is the camera and the technology that's built into the cameras, right? And how that.
Yeah, I mean, the camera technology is very old. It just has never been innovated the way that traditional CCTV has. I mean, now they have facial recognition, count how many cars cross the line. Now we're trying to bring that kind of technology to the marine industry, which is much harder because you always have a moving background. The vessel's always moving. But really, that's our bread and butter is our AI library. We're far ahead of anyone else. We're constantly annotating and working to add more more detection libraries. So to be able to detect and classify different types of debris. The whales, as I mentioned, was a new one. Also being able to share that information amongst other sailors. So say if I just detected a whale, how do I share it with you so you know that, maybe avoid that area as a potential hazard.
One of the things we've been doing is we have been tracking long lines from our participants, particularly. So we have a long line map, and long lines, for those who are uninitiated, is on the west coast of the Americas. What they will do is they will string together with floating Coke bottles 1 kilometer mile with 1,000 hooks on it. So while technically not illegal in Mexico, it is certainly not good for the habitat. So we have now created a library of 150 locations. They move as fishermen then bring their long lines back in, but we have a pretty good understanding where they are. They mark those lines, Chris, you'll appreciate that, with Coke bottles on a stick with a black flag, which is highly visible at night, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And what it does is you
Absolutely.
run over that, and that's like 1/4-inch line, and that wraps around your props. So for us, we've created a partnership with Shaft Shark that will actually chew them up, but having the ability to get that information or see where they are in total darkness when you make long runs, it's really, really key. So I think, Nick, for that, and they're 2 foot, 3 foot poles with a black flag, so they would be meeting the spec that Nick is talking about.
Yeah, that'd be very easy to detect 700 meters out.
Yeah. The next question I have for you is recording. So if I put this on, right, can I record it as a video, or can you record it as a data set on a local ship and then analyze it later on?
You
How does
can,
that work?
There's no built-in SD card. There's a built-in SSD, but it's only about 2 gigabits. So you're really not looking at a lot of storage, but it also puts an ONBIF stream. So if you already have an onboard NVR, you can import that ONBIF stream and be able to record, 30 days, 60 days, whatever your requirements may be.
Yeah, particularly for incidents. We had an incident off the coast of Venezuela where a couple of our participants had an incident at night. They got boarded. They fought them off. Would be really good to have that video, right? Particularly if it's at night, right? Now it's a smaller vessel. So which leads me to my next question is audio recording also or not?
No, there's no microphone built in. I'm there. Sorry.
It's fine. We all got dogs.
Need audio recording for that. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Chris, what size vessel are you working on?
It's 60, Celine 60.
Yep.
My apologies,
Great.
guys. I'm back.
No worries, Nick. So no audio, that's fine. The second question is power consumption. Some of the vessels, are more averse so what's your power consumption for a fully running system, camera and
It is
brain?
24 volts DC for the power,
Yeah.
also for the brain, and then it's just an Ethernet line in for to connect to the network. But that's really the only.
Watts and power consumption?
Let me see. I'm looking up now. That I just had it up. Power supply, 24 volts DC, 50 to 70 watts.
Okay, copy that. All right, that answers all of my questions. Chris, do you have anything
Just
that's
one,
pressing on you?
yeah, one other quick one. Thanks. So let's say I was all gung ho and ready to go. How would I go about, securing the system, implementing it, and getting support?
So we do have a dealer-based network, all through North and South America. We do sell through dealers. To become a dealer, as long as you're really just a marine integrator, I mean, it's very, similar to CCTV for installation as far as cable goes and pulling and commissioning. We're able to assist with that as well, as far as blocking out parts of the vessel so that doesn't show up as a false detection. But we can put you in touch with one of our local dealers and give you someone that's going to be vetted. They went through our training, they're certified to kind of help you with that. And lead time's about 4 to 6 weeks. We do have some wiggle room there occasionally. So if you let us know what you need to do, we'll see if we can meet it.
Got it. And the cost, I saw down below one of your screens, I thought, but what roughly does the system cost for a, commercial trawler?
So all in MSRP with like the professional installation kit, which includes like the Namiya integration, joystick, cables, and all that, all in is about like 49,000 MSRP.
Okay, great.
Great.
Thank you.
And for the brain, I'm sorry, the brain is about 9,000 MSRP.
Okay, so if you had both, you'd.
I mean, you really only need the Sentry. The brain's only if you have like a FLIR access camera. But yes, and we'll have some lower cost cameras coming out in this summer, which we'll be launching at Palm Beach Boat Show.
Great.
Be almost like a mini version of the Sentry, one that's stationary, fixed, looking forward, and then we'll be coming out with a pan tilt mount for it as well, so you can get the full pan tilt unit. But at launch, it'll be stationary. But that's going to be more for smaller vessels.
It's great. Hey, Nick, thank you so much for your time. I know you got plenty to do. Really appreciate it. Chris, thanks for joining. We will make this available to the posse. And Nick, you got any special deals for us you want to announce?
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone that wants to buy a system before the start of Q3, so all the way up till, what is that, June, we can give you guys 5% off MSRP.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Nick. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.